Hello everybody, hope you're having a wonderful day. I just got home and I got a new package from Amazon. I'm going to be unboxing this, sharing my experience with you guys. This is a brand new model from a micro brand on Amazon. I went ahead and pulled the trigger the second I saw this because it is absolute value, premium materials on paper. So let's just see how this thing comes out. Unpackaging knife is going to be the Miguron Knives Talism L. I've just been loving this freaking thing. So, Monikala knives. Yeah, very excited. Some people have had good experience with them, some people not so much. But what I need a lot of people to understand is that this is truly a micro brand. They have all of 2 models. And this is their 3rd model now. So I have reasonable expectations, but relatively on the higher side. So simple packaging, little magnetic clasp deal-y here. So there's a little dude for sure. The price on this thing was just about $50. Let me check it out. And chances are I'm probably one of the first content creators to put this thing out, seeing as it just became available like 2 nights ago. Right off the bat, one of the main reasons why I just never really cared for flipper type deployment knives is that on the lower end of the spectrum, I'm very sensitive to slop and play when it comes to the detent. But this is only flipper deployment, so let's get this little guy out. It's on the light side. Little frame lock action here. Yeah, that's not bad actually. Yeah. I feel like this thing can be tuned to my preference a lot stronger. It looks like to be a hardened steel insert over travel stop, all that typical good stuff. The blade material is 14C28 and it should be printed right there on the blade. The model name is probably backwards to you, but it's the Dolphin. They're calling this the Dolphin. Sure, why, whatever. Bent steel pocket clip. I'm pretty sure that's steel. I can go ahead and check it out. Not reversible. Let me see. Like T8, T6 and stuff. So my little fatty stubby driver right here. T8 should be for the pivot. Yep, pivot's good. Still got T6s for the body. Yeah, T6 for the body, T6 for the screw, and the over travel stop. So kind of a common build, nothing super special. Ceramic bearings within the pivot. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take you guys down and we're gonna do some close-ups on this thing. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start taking this thing apart. No Loctite on the pivot. I'm completely cool with that. I don't know about you guys, but I am a-okay with that. Good looking threads, nice and healthy. Captured. We got a D-shaped pivot. It's good. Good stuff. Zero internal milling on the tie scale. It is still relatively lightweight for what it is. You can see here that there is actually an internal track. That's awesome. I think that's really cool. You do get hardened steel washers right here, so the bearings aren't rubbing directly on the tie, which I've seen it done before. It's fine, but they do take an extra precaution to keep this thing lasting a little bit longer. I like that. I definitely approve of that. Yeah, this thing came very well juiced, very juicy. Here's the stop pin. So I just noticed something. The stop pin is actually separate from the blade. Typically something like this would be like friction fit or something into the blade. It'll kind of be like that, or like welded on either side. But yeah, this is just another way of doing it. It is also a cost-cutting measure. That's fine. I'm completely okay with that. I got nothing against it. Very clean. I do appreciate that quite a bit. You can see the ceramic detent ball large and in charge. That looks good. Over travel stop, nice and healthy. The surface of that hardened steel lock face there is good. While I have this thing taken apart, I'm actually going to push the lock over a little bit. Hopefully I don't get any lock stick. This did not have any lock stick when I got it, but I'm just gonna tweak it just a little bit because I want, if I'm gonna have an only flipper deployment knife, I want that thing to be snappy. So just push it over. Okay, that might have been a little too much. The action is going to suffer a little bit because I'm obviously increasing the lock bar tension here, but I think I got it to where it should be relatively snappy. I'm going to put this thing back together in a sec. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, while I have this thing already taken apart, I can go ahead and do a skiff reading if anybody is curious about that. Let's start with the pivot here, probably a 6. Yeah, that looks to be a 6. Does it fit in a 5? No. So it's definitely a 6mm pivot, which is cool. And maybe 3/64ths? No, I was wrong. 1/16. So there you go. If you want to get skiff bearings or skiff thick washers, mind you, when you place an order for thick washers, you're actually getting 2 sets, so that's double the fun, which is awesome. 6mm pivot, 1/16 thick. So if you want to get some stuff, use my code. I do have a code and an affiliate link that you can utilize down in the description. The code is JTT10, obviously for 10% off. I'm gonna go ahead and slap this thing back together, and we are all back together. So this thing, stupid easy to take apart. As you can see, 3 little screws to get to the main internals. And I went ahead and actually flipped the pivot the other side because the access side was on the right side of the knife. I flipped it just because I can, and I think it looks better, right? So let's see. Yeah, the action tightened up a little bit, definitely, and it's definitely a lot snappier. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's hear that detent. It's good for what it is. I'm actually content with that. Now, looking at the blade here, let's take a look at the execution of that plunge grind. The effort is definitely there, for sure. But you could see that it does creep up just a little bit. If I really wanted to lay back the edge and go down to 15 degrees or something super thin like that, this is going to get very wide very fast. You can see there how thick the actual edge is, how thick it is right behind the edge. It's relatively robust. Honestly, I think something of this overall size would definitely benefit from a shallow hollow grind, but you know, they have the capabilities of doing hollow grinds, and I have proof of that actually. My original Assault Team Model 1, also by the same company, you can see that it is it has been heavily modified. I have a stock one that I bought recently because I plan to mod it, do more you know, practice work with it. So this is how it looks stock, that's how it looks modded, and this is how that guy looks. And having a stud right there would have been awesome to kick off of, and if there was no flipper tab in the way, it would be welcoming to much larger hands. I wear a large to XL size glove. I kind of float in between the two, honestly, but I do have slim fingers, so I don't typically run into any ergonomic restraint issues. But I will say, if you have chunkier fingers, this is going to be noticeably cramped in your hand. The amount of available cutting edge, it's just at 3 inches on the dot, so this is going to be cool for a lot of places where 3 inches is the max. I'll pull out in just a second. I'll show you how this thing looks in and out of the pocket. I haven't tested it yet, but clearly they can do hollow grinds, as you know, even if they are shallow, they're not super deep. Also, the consistency on hollow grinds is not that impressive. If you can actually see here, the difference in the wedge or the grind, that's a lot wider there, and this hollow grind goes up a lot higher. So You know, it's to be expected on, you know, a knife in this price range. Now, let's say they were asking $100 for something like this. I would probably be a lot harsher on this than for what it is, because that's now in the territory of Migron, Kubi or KB knives, whichever one is the budget version. And you know, maybe some stuff from Kaiser. I know Kaiser's done some smaller frame titanium stuff that has blade material that kind of floats around in this similar mid-grade territory of, you know, entry-level blade material. So this is still well below almost anybody out there. Let's go ahead and take the weight on this. As you saw earlier, there are no attempts and effort of internal milling, but everything is very well finished. 3.9. Let's do a couple little size comparisons, just a couple. Start with some little guys. Here is the beloved Native 5 Lightweight by Spyderco. It is damn near the same tip to tail, so that's definitely a good one right there. Here we have CGRB Pyrite Light. It's definitely a lot lengthier. My Vaker, I honestly don't even know where the hell my Vaker is right now. I think it's somewhere inside the house. Let's do this little dude. Recon, or the Mini Recon one by Cold Steel. The Mini R1 is actually a smidge lengthier than the Dolphin here, but not by a whole lot. Let's do paper cut test. Check out that factory edge. I don't have the highest hope for it, but I mean, let's be realistic here. This is a very crude toothy edge. It's no, not happy with that at all. You can see it's definitely shredding the paper. It's leaving a super fibrous edge. Not impressed by that whatsoever. But again, for all that there is in this particular unit, I think for it to still be about the $50 price point, I think that this is actually still going to be a pretty sweet buy. This is going to be a cool offering for people that want to get into modifying stuff. And if you don't want to pick up a $100+ titanium frame lock to possibly trash, you can pick something like this that has, you know, good bones. You can, you know, if you want to practice doing grinding on the blade, you know, different swedges, you could do different sort of file work to the spine with the titanium. It's your imagination really is your limit. Alrighty, hopefully you could still hear me. But again, that's how this little guy looks like. You can't really, you know, creep up on it. It's just the one grip position. You could be further up with your thumb out, and it's, you know, contoured well enough. It feels nice. There is some jimping back here. Let's go ahead and see how this thing is in the pocket. I have my work pants on, and yeah, that was actually very easy. As you can see, it seats down all the way. On the release, it's nice and smooth. It's not snagging on anything. Let's go ahead and do that again. Yeah, that's good. Obviously, I'm going to do my absolute best to be, you know, fair and reasonable despite my distaste towards flipper knives. But this will see plenty of pocket time. I will be doing a sharpening on this, and later on down the road give you guys a final thought and review on this thing. The tip is very well buried. I like that quite a bit. It is essentially perfectly centered, and even after increasing the tension on the lock side here, the initial slop has gone away, but I can still feel it just so slightly. I gotta look for it now. So I essentially fixed the little bit of play that was in it, and yeah, I mean, as I play with this thing, it gets better and better. Zero side to side when it's cranked down all the way. Up and down, nothing. Alright, so that was the first impressions of the Monikala Knives Dolphin. Again, this is a brand new offering from a very small company on Amazon. Then, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed already, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support and your patience, of course. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I play more videos and content coming your guys' way. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.